Boom shakalaka. You know, no matter where you look, sentiment is pretty bad right now. Markets are down, like over 25% in the past month. I mean, the sky has fallen. And some people think that the bull cycle's over. They might be right. They might be wrong. But today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a few interesting charts. The good, the bad, the ugly, and this one hidden indicator that nobody else has talked about yet. That signaled the bottom, not one, not two, not three times, has never signaled a top, and guess what? It's flagging once again. You definitely want to stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. You know, confusing times. I gotta say, it's gotta be rough to be in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency right now. Oh yes, it is. Well, if we take a look, down over 25% in the past month. Ouch. Like some in the past week. Cardano down 20% in a week. Ouch. Now, while this may be the end of everything, and while things may continue to tumble, there is hope. And that hope is right here. And ordinarily, I would save it for the end of the video to keep you watching the whole thing. But because you're probably in so much pain right now, we'll just get into this in the beginning so you can, watch for a few minutes, get on with your day, feel a little bit better about yourself, and hopefully things won't fall out between us. And then if you want to stick around for the rest of the charts afterwards, kind of summary as to what's going on, why it's going on, what could potentially happen in the future, we'll do that towards the end of the video. Before we get into it, like the video, join us on Twitter through Crypto Love. Subscribe to the OG Bitcoin and Crypto YouTube channel and watch our shorts. Eat my shorts, as Bart used to say. So anyways, we already talked about how the prices suck right now. And interestingly enough, back in September, a couple months ago, I made a video. Maybe I'll post to it somewhere right up here or here. I forget which side it's on. I don't make videos that often anymore. Laziness. And I made a video and I was like, my bat signal, my ears are perking up, tingling, my nipples rock hard because I started to get top type signals. Now, I'm not saying I call the top because if that was the top, I totally missed it. But, people were starting to say, oh yeah, I'm a remote worker. Oh really, you're like a developer or something? No, a cryptocurrency trader. And I was like, oh boy, that's bad. Red flag. So anyways, that was back in September. Since then, we have today. Extreme fear. Yesterday, extreme fear. Last week, fear. Last month, fear. People are terrified right now. Now, what's that old adage? And if it rhymes, it's got to be true. Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. That doesn't rhyme, so clearly it's false, right? Well, if we take a look, not at today's fear, but if we take a look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index over time, this is the really important metric because take a look at this. All the way down at 10. It doesn't hit these levels very often, and maybe I have to scroll up because it's behind my head. You can see it's all the way down here. It happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, maybe 9. Didn't really touch all the way down there. That was only 18. But 8 or 9 times in the history of the Fear and Greed Index. So that tells me this is probably a pretty important metric to take a look at. If we take a look, we can plot that out on a graph, and I did the work for you. Taking a look, every single time we got down to this 10 line, which is right here, I put an arrow on this chart. We had one happening right now. We had one back in April of 2025. We had another one here in June of 2022, January 2022, July of 21, February 2020, September 2019, November 2018, April 2018. This was the kind of almost not exactly because it was 18, not at 10. And then also February of 2018. Now, if you take a look at these things, there's also some interesting other lines on the chart. These blue lines are the halving times. The red lines are a pi cycle top signal. The green lines are a pi cycle bottom signal. And I've made videos on how to find the pi cycle bottom, but I'm sure you can figure it out too. You just take a tangent to the line. It's very simple. So anyways, take a look at this. These orange things come very close to pi cycle bottoms, like almost dead on pi cycle bottoms. Not only that, but we also had the COVID bottom back there. Hit that one spot on. Now these ones here, these ones are interesting because these are all times when the price comes right around this yellow line, which is the 50-week moving average. You can see this is MA50 on the weekly chart. This is the 50-week moving average. And when the price comes to this territory, people get very, very fearful, because if it breaks through there to the bottom, well, you're pretty much looking bear market territory. You can see for the next year or so after it breaks through the bottom, that's bad news. However, in this bull market so far, this has been very nice support. Look at this, bouncing off of it time and time again. We're coming up to it close. Right now, it's at $94,000, which is basically where price is. So this wick, these are the Heiken and She candles. So this wick should be down, touching that right now. Anyways, where does that bring us? The important things to take away, at least the way I see it. Number one, I have no idea what's going to happen with the markets. I mean, people are terrified right now. Nobody knows. And so it's a good time to just stay in a spot. Now, you could go into fiat, do whatever you want to do. Hopefully, I think most of the people who watch this channel don't mess around with leverage, because we know it's just like gambling. I mean, I think, what is it? Rat poison squared is what Munger said that Bitcoin was. Well, leverage trading must be like rat poison cubed or quadrats, whatever. So, that being said, if you hang on to spot, it'll eventually come back. I mean, every single time. It came back a year, maybe 2 years, just go back to work at McDonald's like we all do. Or we could just take a look at some other charts to see if there's something else going on that we're missing, because it doesn't make sense. This cycle, either everything is broken or we haven't had a peak yet. Exhibit A, the pi cycle top indicator. This has never been wrong. Now, there is something called alpha decay, where charts that used to work no longer work. Maybe, and I mentioned this before, because everybody knows the pi cycle top, maybe the pi cycle top won't work this time. It's possible. But if we take a look at this, look at how far apart these lines are. Pi cycle top happens when they cross. They're not even close to crossing, which would tell us we're much closer to a bottom than to a top. But that's just one chart. How about another chart? The Bitcoin investor tool. When it's below the red line, you buy. When it's above the green line, you sell. We haven't even gotten close to the green line this cycle. The green line, $405,000. We are hovering right on the red line at $81,000, which is a 2-year SMA. And my goodness, could it go below there? Yeah, it's gone below there before. But my freaking goodness, doesn't even look like we had a cycle this time. How about another one? The Mayer multiple. Either this chart, like all of these things that we've looked at for Bitcoin for years, either they're all broken or the cycle hasn't even begun. Right now, Mayer multiple saying that Bitcoin price is low. This is like a low Bitcoin price, which is mind-blowing because it's, $90,000 and this is a low price for Bitcoin, which, why not scoop up Bitcoin at a discount while you can? All those people when it was at 120 being like, man, if it was below 100, I would totally buy some. Nobody right now wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole, right? Because it's probably going to keep going down. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe once the trees are shaken totally, everybody will get off the bus and it'll continue going forward. If we take a look at this, the short-term holder MVRV ratio, right now, price is well below the short-term holder MVRV. Short-term holder realized price, $110,000. That means that people who held Bitcoin for 6 months or less, they paid on average $110,000. They're all underwater. They're most likely the ones panic selling because they have not been seasoned. They have not hodled. They bought it at 120 because they sold it last time at, I don't know. They bought it at 70. They sold it at 30. And then now it's over 70. They bought it again 120. And then now they're selling it at 90. I guess, buy the top, sell the bottom. That's the way you should do it, right? You guys tell me down in the comments. I'm not exactly sure. There's also this Bitcoin price and fib retracements today. Taking a look at this through all these different levels. Now this right here, the red line, short-term holder price, well below there. We're all the way down to almost the true mean at $82,000. We've broken through one standard deviation below the short-term holder price, which is pretty monumental. Price has come down a lot. Now, could this be the end? It could. But so far, we haven't had any of the extreme upward cycle indicators yet. I mean, sure, my bat senses were tingling because someone was talking about being a cryptocurrency trader. I don't know. But we haven't had any of this crazy euphoria yet. At least on this chart, we haven't had any of the top signals yet. A little bit back there, but nothing much. This Bitcoin euphoria chart, they did just recently change because, at least to my knowledge, these green lines occurred when this orange signal, the MVRV-Z ratio, broke through this blue line, which you can see happen here, happen back here, which is behind my head. You can't see it clearly. But it did not break recently. They just added these green lines, I think, because, I don't know, maybe there was some euphoria that I missed. Now, we haven't had the crazy red overheated euphoria. We haven't even had the heated euphoria since December of last year, almost a full year since that heated euphoria. We've just had kind of like lukewarm euphoria. Which brings us to the last chart I'm going to show you today. The only one that says, hey, you know what, maybe things might be over, is the Rodel ratio. Now this one right here says that we are in a bear market. And for how long? Almost for a full year already, since April, 6 months. Okay, that's close enough to a full year. But since April of 2025, we have been in a bear market. You know what comes after a bear market according to the Rodel ratio? Oversold. So maybe price will continue down being oversold. The only thing that I can't really wrap my head around yet, this cycle as to it being oversold, is like it was oversold previously because there was a lot of like shady stuff going on. At least last cycle, a lot of shady stuff going on, a lot of exchanges collapsing, things like that. It never really got that frothy this cycle to where that happened. So aside from some panic selling, I don't know where that's going to come from, but you know, every cycle does tend to surprise us. And even though these charts may or may not be great, I would like to end this with some of these, like the investor tool, the Pi Cycle Top Indicator, and of course, the one thing that has called pretty much every bottom for Bitcoin since it was invented, and it's flagging once again today, so maybe, just maybe, fingers crossed, this might be a bottom too. That's all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, like the video, join us on Twitter through CryptoLove, subscribe to the channel, and also watch our shorts. I will catch you later. Have a good one. I love you. Peace.
Boom, shakalaka.
If you don't think Bitcoin's going to $1 million a coin and then $10 million a coin, you're already a loser.
From now on, if you don't own Bitcoin, you're a moron.